I'm going to show you this morning how to take care of a GNC spray gun and how easy they are to maintain and repair. First off, I'd like to let you know that every gun has the same operating parts. There's no difference in the valving systems in all the guns that we manufacture. We have a Mighty Light, we have a Mag 1, and then we have a Mag 1 Gold, and then we have one that's disassembled here so you can see how the parts go together. One thing that's critical I have to show you on each gun when you receive it, always make sure there is play in the trigger. There needs to be about a 1/16 of an inch play in the back of that gun. That allows the seat to seat against the Teflon inside the gun. Now I'm going to show you how this gun goes together, so how simple it is to work on. First, you take the grip assembly, and it has an adapter. This is 1/2" NPT threads. This converts it to garden hose threads. You can use it if you want to, or you don't have to use it. Just screw it in, and that part's done. Hand tighten it, you're over. The valve that goes inside the gun has a dual O-ring seal. We put one O-ring in on the inside of the gun that runs on the shaft up against the washer. It goes into the gun, and in the back of the gun there's a seat that it goes against. Put it in, put it through the hole, and after you get that in, set it down gently. This is the seat for the Teflon. This Teflon seat has to go into the gun at this point. Just pop it in good and tight like that. Teflon seat, stainless steel valve. The sealing takes place where those two, and I'll show you quickly here. That fits into the Teflon. That's what shuts the gun off and on. The trigger pulls this back, lets it go, and it slams shut, cuts off a flow of liquid. You put this into the gun, comes out the back, and when it comes out the back, you have another O-ring in this. This O-ring slides down over the shaft the same way, screws in, and seals this part of it off. You screw that in to the back of the gun. Get it to go in here. As you can see, it just screws in like this. Sets down against the bottom. You don't want to tighten it too much. That's probably tight enough. Then you take this and push against this, which will force this back through the back of the gun. It comes out, it comes through the trigger. As you can see, it comes out back here. You push this in and start the threads. Sometimes you might need to put this in a vise to make sure you get the threads straight. It's not difficult, it's just that the spring is sometimes a little tough, and with one hand it's a little hard to do, but you put it in, you screw it in like this. Hand tighten it, that should be fine. Two screws on the back of the gun. You put this screw down, you screw it down, making sure there's some space. I like to leave that much space in there. It's about 1/8 of an inch. You hold it back against that screw, you put the lock screw on it, then you take a wrench, hold this one, tighten this one, and it locks your trigger in place where you have plenty of play. Now, the stainless steel valve is touching the Teflon seat that I showed you in here. Sometimes that Teflon gets out around. It can get out around, but if you leave the gun open like this, it pulls out away from the Teflon. That Teflon can shrink, and that's if you leave the gun in this position when you're not using it. Whatever it may be, the gun may leak. So when you get this in, and you've got your little loose right here, take it, do that to it. That makes that stainless steel hit the Teflon and seal up good and tight. Now, on the front of the gun, you have one O-ring up here that seals this. It screws on gently. You screw this on, and that allows you to adjust the nozzle. And this little cone goes up inside the nozzle, and the further it goes in, makes the spray out. The further it comes back, you get a jet stream. There's a little lock screw here. You take a screwdriver, you screw this down a little bit, and what that does is it allows that to come out that far and locks this into position. Now, you want to put the nozzle on it. This is something that's happened over the last few years. You want to make sure when you take this nozzle out to change it, you put it back in with an O-ring. See the O-ring here? I want to make sure you see that. O-ring. O-ring. Has to have an O-ring on it. It goes in. The nozzle sits down into that, and there's a little spacer that you have to put on top. That allows, when you put this on, to lock that nozzle into place. You put the cap on it, hold that, snug it. You've got a brand new gun ready to go. You got loose space here. Just for convenience, smack it again, and you should have a sealed up spray gun. That's how simple a GNC spray gun is.